Oh boy, this is a big one. Behavior about to make a name for themselves. Okay. So, we're gonna get into this as quick as we can. For those listening on the YouTubes, I'm gonna switch the music real quick because I know some of you guys don't like the usual music I use. So, Baba Booey. There, we'll do the Wii music. Nintendo, don't sue me. I already stole a Pokemon design. You're not going to sue me for the rest. Anyways, so the developer update for the mid-chapter patch. So, I have read this. I have watched videos. I have been on Twitter, unfortunately, and I have seen and heard a lot of complaints, and not just complaints, but some good things too. But before we get into this, I'm going to say my final thoughts at the start, because I like doing that. This patch is what I like. I want more patches like this. I have seen Survivor mains complaining. I have seen Killer mains complaining. I have seen people who play both sides complaining, people who barely play the game complaining, people who are veterans complaining, average players complaining. This is the kind of patch I want. Because every single one of those people complaining is all giving valid reasons for why they don't like this patch and why they do like this patch. That is the kind of patches I want. That completely changes. And the funny thing with it is nothing in this patch fundamentally changed the game in any way. It's all just nerfs and changes, it's all just buffs to perks. That's it. And one to Skull Merchant. That's the one exception. We'll get into that later, but the Skull Merchant thing, well, I got some words for that one. But now it's not nighttime and you're streaming? Yeah, I wanted to stream early today because I'm off of work. Okay. So, the finishing Mori system. So, I've mentioned this so many times. I don't know why people didn't think this is what they were doing. They said this exact thing during Anniversary. We all knew what this was. I don't know why we acted like we didn't. The killer can now perform a Mori on the survivor without using an offering. Objects obstructing the camera during the Mori animation will fade away and rework, so the Mori offerings now give large blood points when you perform a Mori on the final survivor. Key things here, that blood point bonus is only on the finishing Mori. It is not on Rancor and is not on Devour Hope. I like this change. I think Moris should be more a part of the base game, and this is how they should have done it in the first place when they did it the first time. I don't see... the only complaint I can see from this is that this means green and red Moris are gone and can't be used, because now they're just blood point things. Now, I do hope Behavior finds some way to at least keep the red ones. I do kind of understand why the green one isn't there. But I am happy that Moris are now an inherent part of the game. It kind of sucks that Moris are like this sideline special thing that almost never happens unless you bring an offering or a specific perk that needs a condition to have it happen. I am cool with it being like this. Now, once again, I do know some people are mad about it not being, or getting rid of the other two Mori offerings, but this is also a buff to Survivor in that case, because that means red Moris can't be brought into a match to basically counter Dead Hard off of second hook. Or not Dead Hard, I'm sorry, Decisive Strike off of second hook, or hook saves off of second hook, or pallet saves, or flashlight saves. It means that the game still has, like, even if the killer brought a Mori, there's a lot of times when, like, if they didn't reveal it or whatever, it was like an FU to the survivors trying to go for the save. And I kind of like this being inherent as just a single time use for the final person. It does have one problem, but that one problem isn't going to be fixed, or this isn't going to make it any worse than it already is, and that is people slugging for the 4K to get this. If anything, if someone has the patience to do that just to get the Mori, that's on them. Because it has to be the last person alive. So if there's two people left, and you hook one the first time, and then the second one is on the ground, you have to wait for that first person to die before you can do the Mori, if I'm reading this correctly. Unless they coded it properly, or in a weird way where you can still do it as long as all 4 people are, like, done, like, on the hook. If they did that, it's not going to be a problem anyways. At that point, that's just a mechanic of the game now. I mean, it always has been for the 4-man slug. There is no, unless behavior adds base kit unbreakable, I'm going to be honest with you guys, and this isn't me even advocating for it. Unless behavior adds base kit unbreakable, 4-man slugging will always be an inevitability on things. And when we get into some other changes, I think it's going to become even more of one. Teamwork, power of 2, and collective stealth. Teamwork, power of 2, in my opinion, was basically just better soul guard, which was already not good. So, new effect. This effect will linger for a few seconds when out of range. Re-entering the range before the linger expires maintains the effect. So now you can kind of like rubber band each other. You don't have to sit like cheek to cheek, right? Change. Increased range to 16 meters was 12. I like that. It's kind of good. It means someone could actually kind of like sit nearby and give you the speed boost. Removed. No longer has a cooldown. No longer deactivates when either survivor loses a health state. Okay. Oh, wait. No longer deactivates when either survivor loses. That's huge. That's actually huge. Huh. I like this. I like this. I like the idea of, like, duo perks. I think teamwork perks are something we need more of, honestly. I like them. Typically, you don't want to be grouped up, but if you are, or you're playing in a certain way, I like this. Collective stealth. This effect will linger for a few... Basically the same thing they just did to Power of 2. Yeah, I like these. I don't think they're going to make them meta or anything, but I think we might actually start seeing them used more in maybe duos and swifts and such, which is kind of nice. I do think there needs to be some perks that are... So we have perks that are, like, okay for solo queue, but swifts, like, really make very good. These are perks I feel only swifts can make work, and I think that's fine. Because it's not an oppressive thing, right? Power of 2 might be annoying if it's used, like, absolutely perfectly, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, personally. Corrective Action. This is one people were complaining about. Change. Now applies to survivors within 8 meters while cooperating on the same action. I can't think of a situation where that's relevant, but okay. Oh, no. It just works in 8 meters. Okay, it doesn't say while it was. Okay. So you don't have to be on the gen with them. Okay. Prevented failed skill checks now become great skill checks was good. So, correct me if I'm wrong on current corrective action. Let me... Because I need to double check. How do you get the stacks on corrective action? It's doing greats yourself, right? You start the trial with 3 tokens and gain 1 token for when you do a great skill check up to 5. Okay. So if 2 people, okay, hear me out on this. If 2 people run this exact build, if 2 people run corrective action, stake out, and hyper focus, they will never miss. That's a guaranteed 10 great skill checks. 10. I don't think they'll use the stacks before the gen's done. This might become meta. Yeah, you wouldn't even, like, you would just... I'm just sitting here imagining 2 people running those 2 builds. One of them has Bardic Inspiration, by the way. And just... the spacebar button. You'd never lose. I kind of like it, though. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of silly. Oh, this might be a problem. It might be a problem. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Because at the same time, if you're running that build, you have no chase build. And you maybe have 1 exhaustion perk. And we're going to get into why that might not be a big deal anymore either. Inner focus changed. Instead of aura reading duration... Oh, wait. Increase the aura reading duration to 10 seconds was 5. Cool. Remove the range requirement. Sweet. I am not going to lie to you guys. I don't know what inner focus does. I thought it let you see your teammates' scratch marks. I thought that's all it did. Inner focus. Grant the ability to see the scratch marks of other survivors. Whenever another survivor loses a health save by any means, the aura of the killer is revealed to you for 10 seconds. And it was in a range. It used to be a range, right? Okay, it was 32 meters. Okay, yeah. So they just got rid of the range. That's good. I like this. This is like, if you combine this with alerts and Eye of Belmont, you're basically getting aura reading on the killer with another couple other perks. There's a lot of aura reading in this patch, by the way, for both sides, and I'm actually kind of all for it. You're just gonna have constant eyes on the killer unless it's undetectable, which is kind of cool. Actually, I like it. I like giving undetectability more of a purpose. We're gonna live forever. Change. Increase healing speed bonus to 150% was 100. Removed. Endurance effect no longer needs to be activated. Wait. Endurance effect no longer needs to be activated? Added a 30-second cooldown to the endurance effect. The endurance aspect of the perk made the perk overly complicated to make you... Oh, okay, so there's no requirement to get the endurance... Oh, so we just have Buckle Up again. Great. Hi, Anna. Great. We'll see. I don't mind it because, like I said, I think slugging's going to become meta. I said hi. I was smoking my vape. I'm sorry. With slugging starting to become more of a problem, I actually think this buff needs to happen. Honestly. Does Oblivious not allow aura reading of the killer? No. No, you can still see the aura of the killer if you're Oblivious. You just don't hear their terror radius, that's all. You still see the red stain. They're not undetectable is the only thing that blocks aura reading on the killer. And blinding. If you're blinded, it also does. So you could run that with Mindbreaker. Speaking of Mindbreaker, Poised. When you first start repairing a generator, see the killer's aura for 6 seconds. Change. Increase the duration to 14 seconds was 10. That's the scratch marks you lose when the gen is done. My only problem with this, and I hope they specify it in the PTB, there needs to be a cooldown on this. Because if someone can just start a generator and then stop doing it, and then start doing it again, and just keep getting the aura reading over and over again, that might be a problem. But if there's like an internal cooldown of like, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I like it though, it gives Poised a purpose. Once again, Eyes of Balmont, just saying. that perk is inherently getting buffed by every single change here. Like once per... That's how it reads, but it's behavior. They don't always do it that way, unfortunately. Oh yeah, what I was saying with this though, Mindbreaker counters this outright though. Zuzu Darkroom, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the cult. My little thing didn't happen. Happy affiliate birthday? Oh yeah, it's still my affiliate birthday. It hasn't been 24 hours yet. Thank you. Blood Rush. This is a massive one. So I had to read this one very slowly for myself because the way they worded this is so confusing. Okay. Blood Rush now activates for 60 seconds after being unhooked. Previously activated permanently when you were one hook away from death. New. Blood Rush now deactivates upon doing a conspicuous action. New. Blood Rush now deactivates when the exit gates are powered. Removed. Blood Rush no longer heals or provides the broken status effect. So, they don't mention anywhere in here that you need to be healthy. That is something Blood Rush required you to be, was healthy. It does not do that anymore. So, if it requires you to be healthy, this perk is still bad. It's still not that great. You have to reset very quickly to get use out of this and just not do a gen. It's a very weird anti-tunnel perk. If you don't need to be healthy, like it's kind of implying you don't, it's good. This perk is a really good anti-tunnel perk. While I think we have plenty, I'm fine with more variety. This basically means you could get off a hook, sprint burst, and then sprint burst again. Quick Gambit. Okay, I kind of had I said on Twitter that this was the only change I wasn't happy with. Someone explained to me the math, and I'm actually fine with it. So, Quick Gambit. When chased, see the auras of all survivors. There's no range on that, by the way. Quick Gambit now has a 60-second cooldown upon losing a health state. Change. Reduced repair speed bonus to 5% was 8. Removed repair speed bonus no longer has limited range. So basically, when you're being chased, every survivor that's on a gen on the map is getting 5% increased gen speed. Now, this basically equates, if you do the math 100%, for all 5 gens, it saves your team 20 seconds. Now, that is if you are chased for the entirety of those 5 gens. The entirety. On top of, like it says here, it has a cooldown when you lose a health state. So if you get hit, there's a minute where it's not doing anything. So I'm not going to lie to you. I think Behavior finally found a way to make it work. I've said in the past, this perk can never be good. It can only ever be bad or just unhealthy. It can be one or the other. It's either really good and unhealthy for the game or really bad and not healthy for the game. And I think they found a good medium ground. I'm happy for this. I might actually start running Quick Gambit alone just for the aura reading on my other teammates. Just so I know where not to run. That's usually why I run Bond when I play Survivor. Distortion. There's a little smile on my face. So here's the thing about Distortion before we get into the changes. I never thought Distortion was that big of a deal. I thought it was annoying, and I thought it hurt your teammates more than it helped you. And from the looks of things, they are, quote, fixing that. So, rework, Distortion no longer has tokens and instead deactivates once used until the next time you were chased. Change, increase the duration to 12 seconds, was 10 seconds. So, basically, beginning of the match, you get Lethal Pursuer, right? You lose your Distortion. You can no longer get your Distortion back until you get into a chase, and then you get it back. So it's now more of an ebb and flow with Distortion rather than just I have Distortion, you will never find me. And I kind of like that more. We'll see how it goes. I can still see some issues with it. And killers with constant aura readings, this probably won't hurt them too much, but ones with like minor ones, it will hurt them a lot. But we'll see. Also, barbecue, lethal, anything like that, fucking Darkness Revealed destroys this now. The new chest aura perk, Human Greed, Undying on its own destroys this. Like, yeah, I think it's good. Lucky Star, changed, now suppresses grunts of pains and pools of blood as long as you are in the locker. Its effect lingers for 30 seconds after exiting the locker, was 10 seconds after entering. Removed, no longer reveals survivors or generator auras. So it went from an information perk to kind of a stealth perk that requires you to go into a gen. I kind of like this. The one problem I have with this is Iron Will pretty much does its job better. The only thing this does over Iron Will is it removes your blood pools, which isn't a bad thing, but that's my only real issue with it, is that Iron Will kind of does this job better. But you can use this while exhausted, so that is a thing. So you could, in theory, go into a locker, head on somebody, and then you can still have this, and then they can't hear your grunts of pain or see your blood. They have no idea where you went. And if you bring, is it Empathetic Connection? It's a Yuichi perk. It hides your scratch marks when you stun the killer. Yeah, you could basically just head on a killer and just leave, and they'll have no idea where you went. Parental guidance, there we go. Yeah, doesn't that hide your scratch marks when you stun the killer? Am I wrong on that? Listen, I know a lot of perks in this game. I know most of the killer ones by heart. I don't play Survivor nearly as much. And particularly the ones you never fucking see, I don't know. Sorry. Might be palette only. I'll check real quick. Hang on. Parental guidance. DBD. Hooray! After stunning the killer by any means. Any means. Okay, after stunning the killer by any means, parental guidance suppresses scratch marks, pool of blood, and grunts of pain for 7 seconds. So, it would kind of overlap with this because of the grunts of pain and pool of blood, but this does it for 30. So your scratch marks would come back after 7 seconds, but your pools of blood and grunts of pain would still be gone. Yeah, I can see that being comboed with this very easily. I like that. I kind of like that. That's like an aggressive stealth playstyle, too. That's kind of the stealth playstyle I think the game needs to encourage more. I like that. Genetic limits. I talked about this. In the Discord. Well, no, actually, there's another one I talked about in the Discord. I have a new favorite, or I have 2 new favorite perks from this patch. I am probably never going to take genetic limits off my builds now. I love Langwind, but this is just going to be better, more reliable Langwind. Genetic limits. Anytime a survivor loses a health state, they suffer from exhaustion for 8 seconds. Fuck you, Deadhard. You are done. You're done, unless you stay injured. That's the key thing here. And this is why I don't think it'll be a problem. If the survivors know you have genetic limits, all they have to do is just stay injured, and they never have to worry about it. This doesn't stop dead or sprint burst, but, how many times have you hit somebody and they immediately light away? How many times has that happened? That'll never happen again with genetic limits. Balanced landing. A lot of times people would like to take the hit before they drop, so they can get the most distance they possibly can. This stops that. Deadhard's dead unless they're already injured prior to you doing the chase. I don't know how this is going to work with Overcome. Some people were saying it's basically Guts Overcome more than it already was. I have a feeling that because of how the game is programmed, you'll get the speed boost from Overcome before the exhaustion actually afflicts you. So we'll see. Overcome has a bunch of other issues. It's not just this. As much as I enjoy Overcome, the biggest problem Overcome has is you go up against a killer who insta-downs, which is quite a few of them. Hi, Oki. Leverage. Reworked. When a survivor performs an unhook, their healing speed is reduced by 50% for 30 seconds. Combine this with Gifts of Pain, they're never healing off hook. I don't care if they have Resurgence. I don't care if they have Will Make It. They are not healing off hook if you're anywhere even relatively close. And I'm glad. I am glad they made this reduces their healing speed and not makes them mangled. Because this means you can combine it with mangled now. Will it become super meta? Probably not, but with how strong resetting is now, it might become, you might see it pop up here and there. Thwack! What a fun word to say. Thwack now starts with 3 tokens. I love that Thwack is I love how they make sure that it's in full caps with the exclamation point. Thwack now starts with 3 tokens. Gain 1 token upon hooking a survivor. When breaking a pallet or breakable wall, consume 1 token and cause survivors within 24 meters to scream and reveal their location for 5 seconds. W change, really good. This is what Thwack needed. Honestly, if they didn't even make it start with 3 tokens, if you started with 0 and you only get them for hooking, I would have been cool with that too. That's just a cherry on top. Once again, will this become super meta? No. But there are some killers who are going to love this perk. Nemesis is going to love it. The way I play Dracula is going to love it. Chucky's going to like it. Billy's going to like it. Like, a lot of killers are going to like this change. Machine learning. So I don't fully understand what they did here. The most recently damaged generator becomes corrupted or compromised. Does this mean you only have to kick one gen now? If so, that might be too much. Whew, that might be too much. Then again, they could just not do the gen. I don't know. We'll see. Machine learning, I think, is really, really, really good. I think it's really slept on. Even after the buffs. I don't know. I just don't want it to make it so... Because it's the recently... So you could just go around kicking gens the whole match and then eventually get machine learning value. But then again, if they do the gen you're not kicking, it might be fine. I'm probably just overthinking it. Yeah, it's probably going to be fine. Deathbound. My new favorite perk. Removed. Deathbound no longer has a distance requirement to activate. Deathbound no longer has a duration and instead deactivates when the healer is hooked. I play a killer who thrives from the Oblivion status effect. This is I'm gonna make this work on Chucky. This is going to be meta on Chucky. I'm calling it now. This is going to be meta on Chucky. It's going to be meta on any killer who can get across the map fast. It's going to be meta on so... Oh my god. Oni is going to destroy with this. This is basic... And here's the thing. It specifically says hooked. If you slug them, they're still oblivious. You could just slug people. And that's why I think Oni is going to make so much use out of this. And yeah, Oki brings up a good point. Pyramid Head can use this now because he can cage people. This is going to be fun. I don't know if this is going to be meta or like super good, but I'm going to love this perk. This is basically Plaything without the slowdown component. If you combine this with Plaything, whoo, boy. Oh, they're never going to hear you coming. Zanin, reworked. When a survivor is within 6 meters of a drop pallet within 16 meters of your location, their aura is revealed for 10 seconds. Good. It's just Zanin has a purpose now. I can no longer make my object permanent joke or permanence joke anymore. Great. Thanks, behavior. I think the aura read should only be like 2 seconds, personally. I think 10 seconds is a bit much. Maybe that's just me. Maybe 2-3 seconds. Maybe make it 3 seconds, and then, yeah, because if you're running lethal, you could make it 5 seconds. I think that would be fine. I think 10 seconds is a bit much. Maybe. Maybe I'm crazy, but yeah, I still think 10 seconds is a bit much. That's just me. I think, it'll be fine, though. It'll be cool, though. Once again, I like that they're buffing, like, aura reading perks on both sides. Dead Man Switch. There's the other one a lot of people were complaining about. Now applies only to the first survivor who stops repairing the generator. Increase the duration to 50 seconds. Was 30. Hey, they fixed this. This was a typo earlier. It said 45 earlier. So they buffed it by 20 seconds. It only applies to one generator now. So, does this kill Dead Man's? No. It does not kill Dead Man's. And here is why it doesn't kill Dead Man's. You can still combine it with Pain Res and get the same effect. Yeah, it doesn't block every gen on the map, but it's going to block the most progressed. And that's the one you're really going to be caring about at the moment. For almost a minute, by the way. Almost a minute. here's the thing with this, too. Since they're finally nerfing Deadmans in a way I think is fine now, they can buff the other perks that were synergizing with it, because that was the problem. This might mean they can buff Pain Res again. They probably won't, but it means they can now, because it can't be combined with Deadmans. Which is always a good thing. Also, funny thing about this, this nerfs Freddy. This is an indirect nerf to Freddy. A very common strategy with Freddy is to run, I think it's class photo. It's the add-on that makes it so he can't fake his teleport. And he can, but he spawns at all the generators. I'm sorry, yeah, so what he would do is he would hook somebody and then do that and everyone would get off the gens. And then it would activate Deadman switch on all of them. He can't do that now. It'll still go to the most progressed, or the first person to jump off, I guess, but, yeah. It's not a very big one, but it's an indirect nerf to Freddy, and I just find that fucking hilarious. Why is Freddy banned in Lights Out? Freddy's banned in Lights Out because of his filter, when you're in the dream world. I was hoping they found a way to fix it, but that's why he's banned, because the dream world filter. The simple solution is just remove it, but it's probably, like, coded to him, so it's probably hard to do. Blood Echo. Blood Echo no longer has a cooldown. People forget this. I forget if I think it's 60 seconds. It had a 60-second cooldown. It almost never mattered, but it was there. So just good to remove it. Reduce the duration to 30 seconds was 45. So this is fine. Blood Echo is okay. I think now that Genetic Limits is a thing, combining this with Genetic Limits, you could basically, and Mindbreaker, you could basically have a full exhaustion build and never have to deal with any of the exhaustion perks. That's cool. Crowd control. The last 5 vaults which survivors rush vault are blocked by the entity. This lasts until the Hex Totem is cleansed. This is going to make early game for killers that in particular that get hurt by windows. Bubba, Billy, Chucky, most M1s, they might start running this. I not like all the time, but every now and again, just to help with that early game pressure. If you combine this with Undying and Dominance, you can basically just stop windows from ever happening. It is also very map dependent. If you're on a map with not a lot of windows, cough cough the game, this perk basically does nothing for you. So it has a lot of inconsistencies because of that. But this means Shack is free. You don't have to bam it. You don't have to do anything. You just they vault it and now they're effed. They either have to drop the pallet or leave. Because it's permanent until it's cleansed. That's the big thing here. Once again, I don't think it's going to become super meta, but I do think we'll start seeing it crop up a little bit more. And it's a Hex. I think it's warranted. I think a Hex should be powerful. I think it's warranted 100%. Predator. My new crutch perk. Hooray. When a survivor escapes a chase and reveal their aura for 6 seconds. This perk goes in cooldown for 40 seconds. As someone who constantly loses chase, for a couple seconds, this is going to be great. I don't think it's healthy, though. I do not think this perk is healthy in the slightest. I think the idea of rewarding the killer with an aura read when someone loses a chase is just not a good idea. But we'll see. I think Nurse is going to run this a lot, by the way. Any killer who has a hard time keeping up in chase, I think is going to lose this a lot or use this a lot. Billy might use it. Bubba, I could see Bubba using it. Clown will probably use it. But yeah. Skull Merchant, the other big one. Skull Merchants. So I said in the Discord, for those who are in it, which you should join, the link's below. If it doesn't work, just DM me and I'll send you the link. I said that I didn't think it was that big of a deal, and I think this was the right way to go. Here's what I'm going to say. The devs have said that they're going to rework Skull Merchant again. So my guess is what they're doing here, we'll read it in a second, but what they're doing here is similar to what Riot did with Yorick. For those who don't know about Yorick in League of Legends, Yorick, back in the day, was such a badly designed character that they couldn't buff without making extremely oppressive, that they had to take him out of the free rotation so no one could play him for free. They nerfed him into the ground so he was barely playable, and they just let him rot until his rework happened. That's what they did. And I have a strange feeling that's what they're doing with Skull Merchant here, before they rework her probably sometime next year. They're just going to leave her in a bad spot until the rework comes out. Yo, best viewers? Hell yeah. Get the fuck out of here. Destroys bot with my mind. So, change. Decreased hinder penalty when scanned by a drone to 5%. Was 10%. Removed. The Skull Merchant no longer gains haste when scanning a survivor. If that was all they did, it would suck, but whatever. That's fine. The big thing, and I don't even care about these two changes, the drone's active state and the invisible beyond 60 meters. I don't even care about that. Reduce the number of scan lines to 1 was 2. That is huge. So there's a thing in game design, especially in PvP games, called, oh my god, what is it called? It's, is it range of... It's like range of injury. Range of threat, that's what it is. Range of threat. So what a range of threat in game design is basically, what is the distance this character can do something that affects you in a negative way? So in for Huntress, it would be, how far can her hatchets be thrown? Same with Trickster, same with a lot of the range killers. For Chucky, it would be, how far can his dash go? For Sadako, it'd be, how much can the Condemned affect people from a TV? That is called a range of threat. By doing this change to making it 1 scan line, you are literally cutting Skull Merchant's range of threat in half. In half. The only good thing about it is that it will force people to have to learn how to do the rotations mid-chase. That's about it. But because of the loss of the haste, and because of the hinder going down by half, I don't think that's warranted to lower her threat range by half as well. Because it can't down you, it can only injure you. I don't know. Once again, I really do think behavior is just putting her in a state where they can keep her in check until they do the rework. She was already not that good, and now she's even worse. And I that's my only logic as to why they could do that. Billy! Every single one of these changes was warranted, and everyone complaining about it, I don't know what to tell you. I really think Billy needed these nerfs. They're not even that bad, honestly speaking. I think they're all very well warranted. The mere fact that there is an argument that Billy is better than Nurse, yeah. It still really sucks for people who... Yes, no. Don't get me wrong. Much like with the Trickster changes, I sympathize. I do. If they gut Chucky tomorrow, I will expect the same sympathy, but also the same understanding, if that makes any sense. Skull Merchant was a widely hated killer, and they're putting her in a spot where the hate hopefully goes a little bit down while they work on the rework. I do think low pro... no, low pro isn't in here. I do think it should have been changed, but it is what it is. Change. Decrease the time before overdrive starts to dissipate to 8 seconds was 15. Basically cut it in half. I think that's fine. 15 seconds... A 15-second buffer is a lot, and I feel not needed. Decrease overdrive movement speed to 11.5 meters a second was 13 meters a second. Fine. Once again, noticeable, but fine. Decrease overdrive charges gained while revving and sprinting to 1.5 a second was 2. That is, a fourth being cut off? Once again, noticeable, but fine. Increased chainsaw missed attack cooldown to 2.7 seconds was 2.5. Again, I've said this before, I think Billy does need to be punished more for missing. Not as much as he used to be, but a middle ground of where he used to be to where he is now, I think is fine. The only change on here that I don't like... or that is missing from here, I really do think Overdrive needs a cooldown. I think once you exit Overdrive, there should be like a 5-second buffer before you can start building it again. Then again, a couple of these changes this change in particular kind of makes that happen to a degree. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't want Billy gutted again. I don't know why people think that's what a lot of people want. We just want to bring him back down. Same thing with Nurse. I know Nurse is up there, but we want Nurse to be not S tier. That's all we want. We want her to not be playing a different game all the time. That's it. Twins. Unwarranted changes, but whatever. Increased Victor cooldown when crushed to 20 seconds was 15. Increased cooldown after Victor downs a survivor to 3.2 seconds was 2.7. I think I don't play Twins enough to have an opinion on these. Honestly speaking, it is a nerf, so that's all I can say. Is it a warranted one? Maybe. I hear Twins is actually... Twins, in my opinion, is like... I think they're top 5. Personally, I think they're stronger than Chucky. I think they're stronger than Spirit. And I think people just don't notice because they don't play against them enough. I said what I said, and I mean it. And I think maybe a little nerf here and there is fine. We'll see how it goes. I don't think it guts them in any way. I don't think most really good Twins are even going to notice, really. The Unknown. This was another one that was very contentious. New. HUD updated to display teleport cooldown hallucination spawn time. This is fine. The way it is now, I like it from a thematic perspective. The little things on the side of your screen. But making things more readable is almost always a good idea, and I think it's fine. Movement speed now decreases sooner when charging your power. So they're making it so you can't edge anymore, which, haha, funny joke. But, so behavior's design philosophy with the killer, they say down here is to make it so survivors don't have to constantly dodge and weave. I don't buy that because Huntress, Deathslinger, Pyramid Head, Pyramid Head, Demogorgon. So many of these other killers exist that do the exact same thing, I feel. So yeah, I don't buy that for a second. But behavior's design philosophy for Unknown does seem to be they don't want you to have control or as much control over where the husks spawn. And that seems to be where they're going in the direction of these changes. Which I think is fine. If that's what they want Unknown to be, that's what they want Unknown to be. Increased teleport recovery speed by 15%. So they added half a blurry photo to base kit, which is cool. Adjustments to blurry photo and vanishing box. I'm assuming blurry photo is going to go down to 15%. Or go down a little bit with the percentage, so it's not as required. Vanishing box. I'm curious what they're going to do to it. Yes, I understand that this is his best add-on, but it's also not, super, super good. But we'll see. Improved visual and audio feedback when using UVX. That's always good. I'd have to hear it and see it. If the audio changes we've seen recently are anything to go off of, it's going to be bad, but we'll see. And that's it. That's the whole patch. This is a big one. And you know what? I'm here for it. I really, really like this patch. I really like this patch. I know there's some stuff people aren't happy with. Once again, it is going to come to PTB, and, they do take feedback. We have seen this in the past, and they will adjust things. But for the most part, I think this patch is a W. I think Skull Merchant is the biggest L on here. I think Unknown is, we'll see. Otherwise, though, I'm happy with every other change on here. I can't think of a perk where, and like, once again, I kind of jumped the gun on like quick Gambit, but like even after like reading the math on it and stuff, I'm cool with everything on here. Even the Moris. I like the Moris. I'm glad that they're going to be a part of the game. Like an actual part of the game and not just an offering. It's just nice. But to those listening on the YouTubes, I love you guys. Tell me what y'all think. I'm sure people have lots of opinions on this. But tell me what you guys think. I'll see y'all in the next one. And yeah, bye.
Subscribe, damn it. I'll be back. I always come back, and so should you, you moron.